Jordan had always been invisible at school, except when his classmates decided to humiliate him. He was an easy target for their cruelty. Being black and a science nerd who preferred the company of books and experiments over socializing made him stand out in all the wrong ways. The discrimination and bullying were relentless, yet within the confines of his mind and the pages of his science books, he found a sanctuary. "Hey, Einstein, how's your lab rat doing?" a voice sneered, accompanied by the snickers of a group nearby. Jordan kept his head down, clutching his books tightly to his chest, and quickened his pace. He had learned that engaging only made things worse. As he walked through the bustling hallways of his New York school, he could feel the eyes on him, the whispers, and the pointed fingers. "Don't let them get to you," he muttered to himself, a mantra he repeated daily to survive the onslaught of verbal and sometimes physical abuse. The school's imposing brick walls seemed to close in on him, but within the sanctuary of the science lab, he found peace. Here, he was in control. Beakers, test tubes, and scientific journals were his companions. His mind, a repository of knowledge and questions, found solace in the certainty of scientific principles and the endless possibilities of discovery. One afternoon, while engrossed in an article about the latest advancements in quantum mechanics, he was jolted back to reality by a familiar, harsh voice. "Jordan, what are you reading now? Trying to invent something to make yourself less of a loser?" It was Alex, the ringleader of his tormentors. His tall frame loomed over Jordan, casting a shadow that seemed to suffocate him. Jordan took a deep breath, trying to summon the courage to respond. "It's about quantum mechanics. Something you'd never understand," he said softly but firmly. Alex's face twisted with anger, but before he could retort, a teacher walked in, dispersing the group. Jordan sighed in relief, but his heart pounded in his chest. Every day was a battle, and each small victory felt Pyrrhic. At home, things were different. His family was his rock, especially his grandmother, who often shared stories of their ancestors' resilience and strength. She was a living testament to the power of perseverance. "Jordan, remember what your great-grandfather used to say?" she asked one evening as they sat together in their modest living room. "Yes, Grandma. Strength is not about how much you can handle before you break, it's about how much you can endure after you've been broken," he recited, the words a balm to his weary soul. "That's right, my boy. You come from a long line of fighters. You have that same strength in you," she said, her eyes shining with pride and encouragement. Despite the daily torment at school, Jordan's love for science remained undiminished. He spent countless hours in his room, surrounded by books and makeshift experiments. His mind was a whirlwind of ideas, theories, and dreams of a future where he could make a difference. One day, while browsing through an old book on chemical reactions, he stumbled upon a passage that sparked an idea. "What if I could find a way to make a fire extinguisher more efficient?" he thought, his mind racing with possibilities. His school, unaware of his struggles, recognized his talent and occasionally showcased his projects during science fairs. But these moments of recognition were fleeting, overshadowed by the relentless bullying. Still, Jordan clung to them, finding motivation in the brief flashes of acknowledgement. "One day they'll see. They'll all see what I can do," he whispered to himself, a promise to his future self. The turning point came unexpectedly. During a school trip to the New York Museum of Science, an event that was supposed to be a day of learning and excitement turned into a nightmare. As the students wandered through exhibits, a fire broke out, spreading rapidly and causing widespread panic. In the chaos, Jordan's training and instincts kicked in. He remembered the fire safety protocols he had studied and quickly assessed the situation. The smoke was thick and visibility was low, but he remained calm, his mind racing through the steps needed to ensure safety. "Everyone, stay low and follow me," he shouted, his voice cutting through the din. Some students hesitated, unsure whether to trust him, but the urgency in his voice compelled them to follow. Using his knowledge of the building's layout and the principles of fire behavior, he led them through a safe route, avoiding the worst of the flames and smoke. "Jordan, over here. The exit is blocked," a terrified voice cried out. Thinking quickly, Jordan recalled a secondary exit shown on the museum's map. "This way, there's another exit," he directed, guiding the group safely out of the burning building. When they finally emerged into the fresh air, gasping and coughing, the reality of what had just happened began to sink in. Jordan had saved lives. The gratitude and admiration in the eyes of his classmates and teachers were overwhelming. "Jordan, you saved us," Alex said, his voice trembling with a mix of relief and newfound respect. Jordan nodded, too exhausted to speak. The relief of having survived and the realization of what he had accomplished washed over him in waves. In the days that followed, the story of his heroism spread like wildfire. The local media hailed him as a hero, and for the first time, Jordan found himself at the center of attention for something positive. However, with this newfound fame came unexpected challenges. The same students who had tormented him now looked at him with awe and respect, but the shadow of their past actions loomed over their interactions. As he navigated this new terrain, Jordan realized that his journey was far from over. The recognition was gratifying, but it also brought with it a heavy burden of expectations and the constant scrutiny of a public eager to see more of his heroism. In the midst of this, an unlikely friendship began to blossom with Alex, the very person who had once been the source of much of his pain. This was only the beginning of a complex and transformative journey for Jordan, one that would test his resilience and redefine his understanding of what it truly means to be a hero. Chapter 2: The Fire at the Museum. One fateful day, Jordan's class embarked on a highly anticipated excursion to the New York Museum of Science. It was supposed to be a day of wonder and discovery, a brief respite from the daily grind of school life and the constant bullying he faced. The museum, with its vast exhibits on physics, chemistry, and biology, was like a sanctuary for Jordan. He felt a sense of belonging among the artifacts and demonstrations that celebrated the very subjects he loved. As the students filed into the grand atrium of the museum, their excitement was palpable. Teachers tried to maintain order, but it was clear that the students were eager to explore. Jordan, as usual, stayed at the back of the group, his eyes already scanning the various exhibits they passed. "Hey, nerd!" a voice called out from behind him. It was Alex, one of the school's most popular kids and, unfortunately, one of Jordan's relentless tormentors. "Don't get lost in your science world. You might miss the real world around you." Jordan ignored the taunt, focusing instead on the intricate models of molecular structures displayed in a glass case nearby. He had learned long ago that responding to such provocations only made things worse. His solace was in the knowledge that soon he would be immersed in the wonders of science, far away from the cruelty of his peers. As the group moved deeper into the museum, Jordan found himself drawn to an exhibit on chemical reactions. He was so engrossed that he didn't notice the growing commotion around him. It wasn't until he smelled the faint, acrid scent of smoke that he realized something was wrong. "What's that smell?" one student asked, panic creeping into their voice. "Is something burning?" another added, looking around nervously. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared, and the museum's emergency lights flickered on. The serene environment was instantly transformed into one of chaos. Teachers shouted for students to stay calm and follow the evacuation procedures, but panic had already set in. People were running in all directions, some crying, others shouting. Jordan's heart pounded in his chest, but he fought to remain calm. His mind raced through everything he knew about fire safety and emergency procedures. He scanned the room, taking in the location of fire extinguishers, exits, and the behavior of the smoke. "Everyone, listen to me!" he shouted, surprising even himself with the authority in his voice. "We need to stay low to avoid the smoke and move towards the nearest exit. Follow me." A few students hesitated, but seeing the determination in Jordan's eyes, they began to follow his lead. Jordan moved swiftly, his knowledge of the museum's layout proving invaluable. He remembered a lecture he had attended about the building's fire suppression systems and used this information to navigate the safest route. "Jordan, where are we going?" a frightened voice asked. It was Sarah, a girl from his science class who had always been kind to him. "We're heading to the emergency exits near the rear of the building," Jordan replied confidently. The main exits might be too crowded or blocked. As they moved, Jordan noticed Alex struggling to help a younger student who had fallen and twisted his ankle. Without hesitation, Jordan rushed over to assist. "Come on, we need to move," Jordan urged, helping Alex lift the injured boy. "Thanks," Alex muttered, clearly shocked by Jordan's quick thinking and bravery. "Just keep moving," Jordan replied, focusing on the task at hand. They finally reached the emergency exit, only to find it locked. Panic threatened to overtake them, but Jordan quickly scanned the door mechanism. He remembered reading about the museum's security features and realized there was an override switch nearby. "Stand back," Jordan instructed, locating the switch and flipping it. The door clicked open, and they spilled out into the fresh air. Outside, the scene was chaotic, with fire trucks and ambulances arriving, their sirens piercing the air. Teachers were doing head counts and comforting distraught students. Jordan led his group to safety, where they were quickly attended to by paramedics. "Jordan, you saved us," Sarah said, her voice filled with gratitude. "Yeah, man," Alex added, his tone sincere for the first time. "You really came through. I'm sorry for how I've treated you." Jordan was about to respond when a fireman approached them. "Were you the one who led these students out?" he asked Jordan. "Yes, sir," Jordan replied, unsure of what to expect. "You're a hero, son," the fireman said, patting him on the back. "You kept your cool and saved lives today." As the reality of what had just happened began to sink in, Jordan felt a mixture of relief and disbelief. He had always been the invisible kid, the target of ridicule and bullying. But today, he had made a difference. Today, he was a hero. The aftermath of the fire was a whirlwind. The media quickly got wind of Jordan's actions, and he found himself thrust into the spotlight. News crews descended on the school, eager to interview the brave student who had saved his classmates. Jordan's face was splashed across television screens and newspapers, hailed as a local hero. "Jordan, how did you manage to stay so calm during the fire?" a reporter asked, shoving a microphone in his face. "I just used what I knew from my science classes," Jordan replied modestly. "I remembered the principles of fire safety and evacuation routes. I'm just glad I could help." His teachers and classmates looked at him with newfound respect, and for the first time, Jordan felt truly seen. But with this new visibility came unexpected challenges. The fame was overwhelming, and the expectations placed upon him were immense. People began to see him not just as a hero, but as a symbol of courage and resilience. "Jordan, can you help us with our anti-bullying campaign?" a teacher asked one day. "Your story is so inspiring." "Of course," Jordan agreed, though he felt the weight of the responsibility. Amid this new reality, Jordan found an unlikely ally in Alex. The guilt-ridden bully was determined to make amends and sought Jordan's help in a science project for the upcoming state fair. Together, they began to work on a revolutionary device to detect and alert about fires more efficiently, a project that would test not only their scientific skills but also their ability to overcome their past differences. As they worked side by side, Alex opened up about his own struggles and insecurities, and Jordan realized that they were more alike than he had ever imagined. Their partnership blossomed into a true friendship, breaking down the social barriers that had once divided them. "Jordan, I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry for everything," Alex confessed one day as they worked late in the school lab. "It's okay, Alex," Jordan replied, looking up from their project. "What's important is that we're moving forward." Together, they faced the challenges of their project and the expectations of their peers, proving that true heroism lies not just in acts of bravery, but in the courage to forgive, to change, and to fight for a better future. The fire at the museum had been a turning point, not just for Jordan but for everyone around him. It had ignited a spark of hope and change, showing that even in the face of adversity, one person can make a difference.
Astérisque astérisque topic 3. Astérisque astérisque.
Jordan's actions on the day of the fire transformed him from an invisible student to a local hero. The shift was jarring. One moment he was just another face in the crowd, and the next he was the center of attention. His story of bravery quickly spread throughout New York City, making headlines and capturing the imagination of many. Reporters sought him out for interviews, and the mayor even invited him to a special ceremony at City Hall where he was awarded a medal for his heroism. "Jordan, how did you manage to stay so calm in such a dangerous situation?" a reporter from the New York Times asked during one of the many interviews. I just did what I knew," Jordan replied, still uncomfortable with the sudden spotlight. "I remembered my science classes, the principles of fire and smoke behavior. It was like a puzzle that needed solving." Life at school changed dramatically. Teachers who had barely noticed him before now praised him openly in class. His classmates, previously indifferent or cruel, began to treat him with a newfound respect. But with this respect came an unspoken expectation. Everyone seemed to be waiting for him to do something extraordinary again. "Hey, Jordan, can you help us with our science project?" a group of students asked him one afternoon in the school hallway. "Sure, what do you need help with?" Jordan responded, trying to hide his discomfort. He wasn't used to this kind of attention. The attention was overwhelming, and at times, it felt like a burden. Jordan found himself yearning for the days when he could just blend into the background, when his only worry was the next science experiment he wanted to try. Now, every move he made was scrutinized, every word he said analyzed. One day, after another exhausting round of interviews and accolades, Jordan found solace in the school's science lab. He sat alone, tinkering with a circuit board, when Mr. Thompson, his favorite science teacher, walked in. "Jordan, how are you holding up?" Mr. Thompson asked, his voice filled with genuine concern. "It's a lot, Mr. Thompson," Jordan admitted, not lifting his eyes from the circuit board. "Everyone expects me to be this superhero, but I'm just a kid who loves science." Mr. Thompson sat down next to him, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You did something incredible, Jordan. But it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Remember, being a hero isn't just about one moment of bravery. It's about who you are every day." Jordan nodded, absorbing the words. He realized that Mr. Thompson was right. The fire was just one event, and while it had changed his life, it didn't define him. He was still Jordan, introverted, passionate about science, and trying to navigate the complexities of high school. However, the external pressures were relentless. The school's administration organized a special assembly to honor him, inviting local dignitaries and media. As Jordan stood on the stage, the principal praised him effusively. "Jordan exemplifies the courage and intelligence we strive to instill in all our students," the principal declared. The applause was thunderous, but Jordan felt a knot in his stomach. The weight of their expectations was almost suffocating. After the assembly, Jordan's parents, who had been his rock throughout, noticed the strain he was under. His mother sat him down one evening, her eyes filled with concern. "Jordan, we are so proud of you. But we can see this is taking a toll. You don't have to be perfect all the time," she said softly. "I know, Mom," Jordan replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's just, I don't want to let anyone down." His father chimed in, "Son, you already made us proud. Just be yourself. That's all anyone who truly cares about you will ever ask." Despite the reassurances from his family and Mr. Thompson, Jordan couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, judged. The whispers in the hallways, the sidelong glances, the constant barrage of questions about his future, it all felt like a storm he couldn't escape. One particularly difficult day, as Jordan was trying to focus on a chemistry assignment, Alex, one of his former bullies, approached him. Alex's face was a mix of apprehension and determination. "Jordan, can we talk?" Alex asked, his voice unusually soft. Jordan looked up, surprised. Sure. What is it?" I wanted to apologize for everything," Alex began, his eyes downcast. "I was a jerk. And seeing what you did, it made me realize how wrong I was." Jordan didn't know what to say. The apology was unexpected, and he wasn't sure how to process it. "Thanks, Alex. That means a lot," Jordan finally replied, his voice sincere but cautious. Alex nodded, his expression one of relief. "If you ever need anything, I'm here. I mean it." As Alex walked away, Jordan felt a strange mix of emotions. The fame had brought unexpected complexities, but it had also opened doors he never imagined. People were changing, seeing him differently, and in turn, he was beginning to see them differently too. In the days that followed, Jordan tried to find a balance. He continued to excel in his studies, but he also made a conscious effort to connect with his peers, to break down the barriers that had isolated him for so long. He joined the science club, not just as a member but as a mentor, helping younger students who shared his passion. One afternoon, while working on a new project in the lab, he overheard a conversation between two students. "Jordan really knows his stuff. I wish I could be like him," one of them said. "Yeah, but he's just a regular guy too, you know? Maybe we can learn a lot from him, not just about science, but about being brave in our own way," the other replied. Jordan smiled to himself, realizing that perhaps the greatest impact of his heroism wasn't just saving lives, but inspiring others to find their own courage and strength. The journey was far from over, but he was beginning to understand that being a hero was less about the expectations of others and more about staying true to oneself, no matter the challenges.
Astérisque astérisque topic 4. Astérisque astérisque.
In the midst of his newfound reality, Alex, one of the leaders of the group that used to torment Jordan, approached him. Alex was consumed by guilt and sought redemption for his past actions. Their initial interactions were awkward, laden with the weight of history between them. However, Alex was persistent, and over time, his genuine remorse began to break through Jordan's barriers of mistrust. One afternoon, as Jordan was leaving the school library, Alex caught up with him. "Jordan, wait up," Alex called, panting slightly from the effort. Jordan hesitated, his heart pounding with a mix of anger and curiosity. "What do you want, Alex?" I wanted to apologize. For everything. I know I was a jerk, and I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to make things right," Alex said, his eyes earnest. Jordan studied him for a moment, searching for any hint of mockery. "Why now? Why do you suddenly care?" Alex shifted uncomfortably. "After the fire, I realized how wrong I was. You saved lives, including mine. I can't keep pretending that what I did was okay." Jordan's gaze softened slightly. "Words are easy, Alex. Prove it." Alex nodded vigorously. "I will. I promise." In the weeks that followed, Alex sought ways to demonstrate his sincerity. He volunteered to help Jordan with his science experiments, showing a genuine interest in the subject. Slowly, Jordan began to see a different side of Alex, a side that was eager to learn and willing to put in the effort to change. One day, during their lunch break, Alex approached Jordan with an idea. "Hey, I was thinking," Alex began, his voice tentative. "How about we work together on a project for the state science fair?" Jordan raised an eyebrow. "You want to work with me? On a science project?" "Yeah," Alex replied, nodding. "I think we could come up with something amazing. Plus, it could be a chance for me to prove that I'm serious about making amends." Jordan considered the proposal. Collaborating with Alex was the last thing he had ever imagined, but there was a spark of potential in the idea. "All right, but this is strictly professional. We're partners, not friends." "Agreed," Alex said, relief evident in his voice. "Thank you, Jordan." As they began to brainstorm ideas, their sessions were initially marked by a palpable tension. Jordan couldn't forget the years of torment, and Alex was acutely aware of the damage he had caused. But as they delved deeper into their project, the barriers between them began to erode. Their chosen project was ambitious, a device that could detect and alert about fires more rapidly and efficiently than current systems. It was a topic that resonated deeply with both of them, given the recent events at the museum. They spent countless hours in the school science lab, merging Jordan's extensive knowledge with Alex's surprising knack for engineering. One evening, as they were working late, Alex paused, looking at Jordan thoughtfully. "You know, I've always envied you." Jordan looked up, surprised. "Envied me? Why?" "Because you're brilliant," Alex admitted. "You have this incredible mind, and you never let anyone see how much their words hurt you." "I wish I had your strength." Jordan was taken aback. It was the first time anyone had acknowledged his resilience. "It's not easy," he said quietly. "But science has always been my refuge. It gives me a sense of control when everything else feels chaotic." Alex nodded. "I get that. For me, it was sports. But now, I'm realizing there's more out there. More ways to prove myself." Their conversations grew deeper, and Jordan found himself slowly warming to Alex. They shared stories, dreams, and fears, discovering common ground that transcended their past animosities. Jordan learned that Alex's bravado had often been a mask for his own insecurities, while Alex came to understand the depth of the discrimination and bullying Jordan had faced. As their friendship developed, they began to support each other beyond the confines of their project. Alex stood up for Jordan when other students attempted to revive old taunts, and Jordan helped Alex navigate academic challenges he had previously ignored. Their partnership culminated in a breakthrough. Late one night, as they were testing their prototype, the device successfully detected a simulated fire scenario, sending an alert faster than any existing system. "We did it!" Alex exclaimed, his face lighting up with excitement. Jordan couldn't help but smile. "Yeah, we did." The success of their project was more than just a scientific achievement. It symbolized the transformation of their relationship, from adversaries to allies. They knew that presenting their work at the state science fair would be a defining moment, not just for their academic careers but for their personal growth. In the days leading up to the fair, Alex's attitude continued to shift. He became more involved in advocating against bullying, often speaking up in class and encouraging others to embrace inclusivity. He even joined Jordan in a school-wide campaign to promote respect and understanding. One afternoon, as they were finalizing their presentation, Alex turned to Jordan with a serious expression. "I want you to know something, Jordan. Working with you has changed me. I see the world differently now, and I owe that to you." Jordan felt a lump in his throat. "And I've learned that people can change, even when it seems impossible. Thank you for proving that." The state science fair was a resounding success. Their presentation captivated the judges, and their innovative fire detection device won first place. As they stood on the stage, accepting their award, Jordan felt a surge of pride and gratitude. The journey had been arduous, but it had led to a profound transformation for both of them. Their story became an inspiration to their peers, a testament to the power of redemption, resilience, and the unexpected bonds that can form through shared purpose. And for Jordan, it was a reminder that being a hero was not just about a single act of bravery, but about the ongoing struggle to make the world a better place, one step at a time. Chapter 5 ***. As Jordan and Alex worked on their science project, the realities of being a young black man in the United States weighed heavily on Jordan's mind. The newfound fame had brought not just attention but also scrutiny, and navigating this heightened visibility was challenging. Jordan's family, particularly his grandmother, became his anchor during this tumultuous time. Her wisdom and stories of resilience provided him with the strength he needed to persevere. One evening, after a long day of working on their project, Jordan sat with his grandmother in their modest living room. The walls were adorned with family photos and mementos that told stories of past generations. His grandmother, a woman of formidable presence despite her age, sat in her favorite armchair, knitting a blanket. "Grandma, do you ever feel like the world is watching your every move, just waiting for you to slip up?" Jordan asked, his voice tinged with frustration. His grandmother looked up from her knitting, her eyes soft yet piercing. "Oh, Jordan, I've felt that way my entire life. Being black in this country means you're always under a microscope. But remember, you come from a lineage of fighters. Your great-grandfather marched with Dr. King. Your mother worked 2 jobs to put you through school. And here you are, a hero in your own right." Jordan sighed, the weight of her words both comforting and heavy. "But it's so hard, Grandma. Sometimes it feels like no matter what I do, it's never enough." She reached out and took his hand, her grip surprisingly strong. "It's not about being enough for them, Jordan. It's about being true to yourself and your values. You've already done so much by saving those lives. Now, you're showing them that a young black man can excel in science, can be a leader, can be anything he sets his mind to." The next day, as Jordan and Alex continued to work on their project, the conversations with his grandmother echoed in his mind. They were building a device that could detect and alert about fires more efficiently, a project that had the potential to save countless lives. But for Jordan, it was also a statement, a testament to his capabilities and his refusal to be defined by societal expectations. "Hey Jordan, can you pass me the soldering iron?" Alex's voice pulled him out of his thoughts. "Sure, here you go," Jordan replied, handing over the tool. Alex paused, sensing Jordan's distraction. "You okay, man? You've been a bit out of it today." Jordan hesitated for a moment before opening up. "It's just everything. The expectations, the pressure. Sometimes it feels overwhelming." Alex nodded, his expression serious. "I get it. I mean, not in the same way you do, but I understand the pressure. People expect a lot from you, especially now." Jordan looked at Alex, appreciating the sincerity in his eyes. "Thanks, Alex. It's good to know you're in this with me." As they worked, the bond between them grew stronger. They spent hours fine-tuning their device, often staying late into the night. Their partnership was a testament to the power of understanding and collaboration, breaking down barriers that had once seemed insurmountable. One afternoon, while they were testing a prototype, Alex brought up something that had been on his mind. "You know, Jordan, my dad's been asking a lot about our project. He's really interested in it." Jordan raised an eyebrow. "Your dad? Isn't he that big-shot businessman?" "Yeah," Alex admitted, looking a bit uneasy. "He's been really supportive lately, but I can't shake the feeling that there's more to it." The conversation lingered in Jordan's mind. He couldn't help but wonder if there was an ulterior motive behind Alex's father's interest. But for now, their focus was on perfecting their project and proving their detractors wrong. Jordan's family continued to be his pillar of support. His mother, despite her demanding job, always made time to check on him. His younger sister looked up to him, inspired by his achievements. And his grandmother's stories of strength and perseverance acted as a guiding light. One evening, as Jordan and his grandmother sat on the porch, she shared another piece of wisdom. "You know, Jordan, every generation has its battles. Your great-grandfather fought for civil rights, your mother fought to give you a better life, and now you're fighting for recognition and respect in your own way." Jordan nodded, absorbing her words. "It's just that sometimes it feels like no matter how much we fight, the world doesn't change." His grandmother smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. "Change is slow, Jordan. But every act of courage, every step forward, it all adds up. Look at you, you're already making a difference. And remember, you're not alone in this fight." Her words were a balm to his weary soul. Jordan knew that his journey was far from over, but he was determined to keep pushing forward, fueled by the strength and resilience of his ancestors. As the deadline for their project approached, Jordan and Alex worked tirelessly. Their hard work paid off as they successfully completed their device, garnering praise from their teachers and peers. The project was a breakthrough, showcasing their ingenuity and dedication. One day, as they were packing up after another successful test, Alex turned to Jordan. "You know, Jordan, working on this project has been one of the best experiences of my life. I've learned so much from you." Jordan smiled, feeling a sense of pride and camaraderie. "Same here, Alex. We've come a long way." Their project was selected for the state science fair, a testament to their hard work and collaboration. As they prepared for the presentation, Jordan couldn't help but reflect on his journey. From being an invisible student to becoming a hero, and now a respected innovator, it had been a transformative experience. Before the big day, Jordan's grandmother gave him a small, worn-out book. "This belonged to your great-grandfather. It's a collection of his thoughts and experiences. I think you might find some inspiration in it." Jordan accepted the book with reverence, feeling a deep connection to his roots. That night, he read through the pages, finding wisdom and strength in his great-grandfather's words. It was a reminder that he was part of something bigger, a legacy of resilience and courage. On the day of the state science fair, Jordan and Alex stood side by side, ready to present their project. The room was filled with students, teachers, and judges, all eager to see their creation. As they spoke about their device, Jordan felt a sense of fulfillment and pride. When their presentation concluded, the room erupted in applause. They were awarded the top prize, a recognition of their hard work and innovation. As they stood on stage, Jordan felt a rush of emotions: gratitude, pride, and determination. As they descended from the stage, Alex turned to Jordan, his eyes filled with admiration. "We did it, Jordan. We really did it." "Yeah, we did," Jordan replied, a smile spreading across his face. "And this is just the beginning." Their journey was far from over. There were still challenges to face and battles to fight. But Jordan knew that with his family's support, his newfound friendship with Alex, and the strength of his heritage, he was ready for whatever came next.
Astérisque astérisque topic C. Astérisque astérisque.
The school community began to mobilize as well. Inspired by Jordan's heroic act, teachers and students initiated campaigns against bullying and discrimination, promoting inclusion and respect. The school would never be the same again, and Jordan felt a growing responsibility to continue being a positive example. It all started with a simple yet powerful idea. Mrs. Thompson, the school's guidance counselor, called a meeting with several teachers and student leaders to discuss ways to improve the school environment. The room buzzed with anticipation as people settled into their seats. "Thank you all for coming," Mrs. Thompson began. "We all know what happened at the museum and how Jordan's bravery saved so many lives. This event has brought to light the urgent need to address the issues of bullying and discrimination in our school. We need to create a safe and inclusive environment for all students." Mr. Rodriguez, the history teacher, nodded in agreement. "I think we should start by educating the students about the impact of bullying and discrimination. Maybe we could organize workshops and seminars." Jordan, who had been invited to the meeting as a special guest, hesitated for a moment before speaking up. "I think that's a great idea, but we also need to hear from the students who have been affected by bullying. Their stories can make a powerful impact. Mrs. Thompson smiled warmly. Absolutely, Jordan. Your insight is invaluable. We'll start by setting up a platform where students can share their experiences anonymously. This will help us understand the scope of the problem and address it more effectively. The meeting continued with a flurry of ideas and plans. It was decided that a week-long campaign would be launched, featuring guest speakers, interactive workshops, and artistic performances centered around themes of inclusion, respect, and empathy. As the campaign week approached, the entire school was buzzing with activity. Posters and banners adorned the hallways, and students could be seen rehearsing skits and preparing presentations. The energy was palpable, and there was a sense of unity that had been missing for a long time. On the first day of the campaign, the school auditorium was packed with students and teachers. The principal, Mr. Harris, took the stage to kick off the event. "Good morning, everyone," he greeted the crowd. "This week is about more than just talking. It's about taking action. We are here to create a school where every student feels safe, respected, and valued. Let's start this journey together." The highlight of the day was a panel discussion featuring students who had experienced bullying. Jordan was one of the panelists, and as he took his seat on the stage, he felt a mix of nerves and determination. He knew that sharing his story could make a difference. The moderator, Ms. Patel, introduced the panelists and began the discussion. "Thank you all for being here. Today, we want to hear your stories and understand how bullying has affected you. Jordan, would you like to start?" Jordan took a deep breath and leaned into the microphone. "Sure. I've always been passionate about science, and I've always been different. Being a black student in a predominantly white school and being a science nerd made me an easy target. For years, I endured name-calling, physical bullying, and exclusion. It was isolating and painful, but I found solace in my love for science." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "The turning point for me was the fire at the museum. In that moment, I realized that I had the power to make a difference. But being a hero isn't just about one act of bravery. It's about standing up for what's right every day. I want to use my voice to help others who are suffering in silence." The audience was silent, hanging on to every word. After the panel discussion, students approached Jordan to thank him for his bravery and honesty. Many shared their own experiences and expressed a desire to join the cause. Over the next few days, the campaign gained momentum. Workshops on empathy and conflict resolution were well attended, and students participated in role-playing exercises to understand the impact of their actions. The school's art club organized an exhibition featuring pieces that depicted the struggles and triumphs of overcoming bullying. One afternoon, Jordan found himself in the art room, admiring a painting of a phoenix rising from the ashes. He felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to see Alex standing there. "Hey, Jordan," Alex said, his voice sincere. "I just wanted to say that what you're doing is incredible. You've really inspired me to be better." Jordan smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thanks, Alex. It's not just me, it's all of us working together. We can make a real change." As the week drew to a close, the school held a final assembly to celebrate the success of the campaign. Mrs. Thompson took the stage to address the students and teachers. "This week has been transformative," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We've heard powerful stories, learned valuable lessons, and come together as a community. But this is just the beginning. We must continue to work towards creating an inclusive and respectful environment every day." Jordan was invited to give the closing remarks. He stood at the podium, looking out at the faces of his peers and teachers. "I want to thank everyone who participated in this campaign," he began. "Your support and enthusiasm have been overwhelming. But remember, this isn't just a one-time event. We need to carry these lessons forward and continue to stand up against bullying and discrimination." He looked over at Alex, who gave him an encouraging nod. "I've learned that being a hero is about more than just one act of bravery. It's about perseverance, empathy, and fighting for justice. Together, we can make our school a place where everyone feels safe and valued." The audience erupted in applause, and Jordan felt a sense of hope and determination. The school had changed, and he knew that they were on the right path. The journey was far from over, but they were moving forward together, united by a common goal. As the assembly ended, students and teachers mingled, sharing their thoughts and experiences. Jordan felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to see Mrs. Thompson smiling at him. "You did an amazing job, Jordan," she said. "You should be very proud of yourself." "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson," Jordan replied. "I couldn't have done it without everyone's support. This is just the beginning, and I'm excited to see where we go from here." With a renewed sense of purpose, Jordan walked out of the auditorium, ready to continue his journey as a hero, not just in moments of crisis, but in everyday acts of kindness and courage. The school had changed, and so had he. Together, they were building a brighter and more inclusive future.
Astérisque astérisque topic 7. Astérisque astérisque.
The friendship with Alex deepened, and he became a true ally. We learned a lot from each other, and our science project began to take shape. The idea was revolutionary, a device that could detect and alert about fires more quickly and efficiently. Jordan and Alex spent countless hours in the school's science lab, surrounded by beakers, circuit boards, and various electronic components. The room was filled with the faint hum of machinery and the occasional spark of a soldering iron. Their project, which they dubbed FireSense, aimed to revolutionize fire detection and prevention. It was an ambitious undertaking, but both were driven by a newfound sense of purpose. One evening, as they worked late into the night, Alex paused and looked at Jordan with a serious expression. "Jordan, I know I've said it before, but I really am sorry for everything," Alex began, his voice tinged with regret. "I was a jerk, and I can't change the past, but I want to make things right." Jordan looked up from the circuit board he was working on and met Alex's gaze. He could see the sincerity in his eyes. "I appreciate that, Alex," Jordan replied. "It's not easy to admit when you've been wrong. But more than anything, I'm glad we're working together now." The two shared a moment of understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had embarked on together. Their project was more than just a science experiment. It was a testament to their growth and the power of reconciliation. As the weeks went by, their device began to take shape. FireSense was designed to be an early warning system that could detect the chemical signatures of a fire before it even started. It could analyze air quality and temperature fluctuations in real time, providing an alert to potential hazards. The goal was to give people precious extra minutes to evacuate safely. One afternoon, while testing their latest prototype, Alex couldn't contain his excitement. "Jordan, this is incredible. The sensors are picking up changes in the air quality almost instantaneously," Alex exclaimed, his eyes wide with enthusiasm. Jordan grinned, feeling a surge of pride. "We're getting there, Alex. Just a few more tweaks, and I think we'll have something really special." Their collaboration extended beyond the lab. They often found themselves discussing ideas over lunch or on their way home from school. It was during these moments that they realized how much they had in common, despite their different backgrounds. They shared stories about their families, their dreams, and their struggles. One day, as they walked through Central Park, Alex opened up about his own experiences. "You know, Jordan, my dad's always been really tough on me. He has these high expectations, and sometimes it's just a lot," Alex admitted, his shoulders slumping slightly. Jordan nodded sympathetically. "I get that. My family has their own pressures too. My grandma, she's always telling me stories about our ancestors, about their strength and resilience. It helps me keep going." Alex smiled, appreciating the insight. "Your grandma sounds amazing. I'd love to meet her someday." "Maybe you will," Jordan replied with a chuckle. "She's always looking for new people to share her stories with." Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and their project continued to evolve. They hit their fair share of roadblocks, but each challenge only made them more determined. They sought guidance from their science teacher, Mr. Thompson, who had been a constant source of support and encouragement. "Mr. Thompson, we're having trouble with the sensitivity of the sensors," Jordan explained during one of their after-school meetings. Mr. Thompson examined their prototype thoughtfully. "Have you considered adjusting the calibration settings? Sometimes a small tweak can make a big difference." Jordan and Alex exchanged a glance, excited by the new direction. "We'll give it a try," Alex said with determination. Their perseverance paid off. After several more late nights and countless adjustments, FireSense was finally ready for its first real-world test. They arranged a demonstration for the school board and local fire department officials. The day of the demonstration arrived, and the school auditorium was filled with anticipation. Jordan and Alex stood nervously at the front of the room, their device set up and ready to go. The audience included teachers, students, and even some local media. Jordan took a deep breath and addressed the crowd. "Thank you all for being here. Today, we want to show you how FireSense can make a difference in fire detection and prevention." Alex stepped forward, his confidence bolstered by Jordan's presence. "Our device can detect changes in air quality and temperature before a fire even starts, giving people more time to evacuate safely." They initiated the demonstration, and the device performed flawlessly. The sensors picked up subtle changes in the environment, triggering an alert within seconds. The audience watched in awe as Jordan and Alex explained the science behind their invention and its potential applications. When the demonstration concluded, the room erupted in applause. Mr. Thompson beamed with pride, and the fire department officials nodded approvingly. "Great job, boys," one of the officials said, shaking their hands. "This could save a lot of lives." As they left the auditorium, Jordan and Alex couldn't contain their excitement. They had done it. Their hard work had paid off, and their device had the potential to make a real difference. "Jordan, I can't believe we actually did it," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. Jordan smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "We did it together, Alex. And this is just the beginning." Their journey was far from over, but they had proven that through collaboration, determination, and understanding, they could achieve great things. Their friendship had transformed them both, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side. Synopsis Enriquecida *. Jordan is a talented and introverted black student at a school in New York, who faces constant humiliation from his peers. Amid discrimination and bullying, he finds solace in his love for science. His life changes drastically after a fire during a school trip, where he saves many lives and becomes a local hero. However, fame brings unexpected complexities, including an unlikely friendship with Alex, one of his former tormentors. Throughout his journey, Jordan discovers that being a hero goes beyond a single act of bravery. It involves perseverance and the fight for justice. Topico 8 *. The project led them to the finals of the state science fair, and their presentation was a resounding success. As Jordan and Alex climbed the stage to receive their award, Jordan felt a whirlwind of emotions. The journey to that moment had been fraught with challenges, but it had also been a period of immense growth and learning. The auditorium was packed with students, teachers, and families from schools all over the state. The anticipation in the air was palpable. Jordan could see the proud faces of his family in the audience, his grandmother's eyes glistening with tears of joy. He glanced at Alex, who gave him a reassuring nod. They had come a long way from the days of animosity and bullying. "Ladies and gentlemen, our final award for the day goes to a project that not only showcases scientific ingenuity but also addresses a pressing societal need," the announcer's voice boomed through the speakers. "Please join me in congratulating Jordan Williams and Alex Thompson for their project on the Advanced Fire Detection and Alert System." The applause was deafening as Jordan and Alex walked to the center of the stage. Jordan's heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from a sense of fulfillment and pride. As they accepted the trophy, the announcer handed Jordan the microphone. "Jordan, would you like to say a few words?" the announcer asked, smiling warmly. Jordan took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Thank you," he began, his voice steady. "This project started as a way for us to explore our love for science and to create something meaningful. But it became much more than that. It became a journey of understanding, of friendship, and of realizing that we can make a difference, no matter our background or past." The crowd listened intently, captivated by Jordan's words. "I want to thank my family, especially my grandmother, who taught me the importance of resilience and strength. I also want to thank Alex for his dedication and for becoming a true friend. This award is not just for us, it's for everyone who believes in the power of change and the importance of standing up against injustice." Alex stepped forward and took the microphone. "Jordan is right. This project wouldn't have been possible without our combined efforts and the support of our community. We've learned that being a hero isn't about a single act of bravery. It's about persevering through adversity and fighting for what's right." As they left the stage, the applause continued. Jordan felt a sense of accomplishment he had never experienced before. The journey had been worth every struggle and every moment of doubt. Backstage, their science teacher, Mr. Reynolds, approached them with a broad smile. "I'm so proud of you both. You've set an example for everyone." "Thank you, Mr. Reynolds," Jordan replied. "We couldn't have done it without your guidance." As they prepared to leave the venue, Alex turned to Jordan. "You know, this is just the beginning. We've proven that we can make a difference. Imagine what else we can achieve." Jordan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "You're right. This is just the start." Their success at the science fair marked a turning point. The recognition they received opened doors to new opportunities, including scholarships and invitations to speak at various events. Yet, amid the newfound acclaim, Jordan remained grounded. He knew that the true essence of their journey lay in the lessons they had learned and the bonds they had formed. One evening, as Jordan and Alex were working on a new project in Jordan's garage, they reflected on their experiences. "Remember when we first started this project?" Alex asked, a nostalgic smile on his face. "Yeah," Jordan replied, chuckling. "I never imagined we'd come this far." "It's crazy to think about how much has changed," Alex mused. "I mean, we went from barely being able to stand each other to becoming friends and winning a state science fair." Jordan nodded. "It's been quite a ride. But I think the most important thing we've learned is that no matter how tough things get, we can always find a way to overcome." Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of Jordan's grandmother calling from the house. "Jordan, Alex, dinner's ready." They exchanged a smile and headed inside, ready to enjoy a meal and the company of family. As they sat around the table, the warmth and love in the room were palpable. Jordan's grandmother looked at him with pride. "You've made us all so proud, Jordan. Your strength and determination are truly inspiring." "Thank you, Grandma," Jordan replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without your support." In the days that followed, Jordan and Alex's friendship continued to grow. They remained committed to their mission of making a positive impact, both in their school and in the broader community. They organized workshops on bullying prevention and promoted inclusivity, using their story as a testament to the power of change. One afternoon, as they were preparing for a presentation at a local middle school, Alex turned to Jordan. "Do you ever think about what's next? Like, beyond high school?" Jordan pondered the question for a moment. "Ido. I want to keep pursuing science, maybe even work on projects that can help people on a larger scale. But I also want to keep fighting for justice and equality. There's still so much work to be done." Alex nodded in agreement. "Same here. I've realized that we have the power to create real change, and I don't want to waste that opportunity." As they stood in front of the middle school students, sharing their journey and the lessons they had learned, Jordan felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that their story was far from over and that they had the potential to inspire countless others. The applause from the students echoed in the room, a reminder of the impact they were making. Jordan and Alex exchanged a glance, knowing that their partnership and friendship had become a force for good. They had transformed their past struggles into a beacon of hope, proving that anyone, no matter their background, could rise above adversity and become a hero in their own right.
Astérisque astérisque topic 9. Astérisque astérisque.
The calm after the storm was short-lived. Jordan and Alex were still reveling in the success of their project and the recognition they had received at the state science fair when a disturbing revelation surfaced. The fire at the museum, which had turned Jordan from an invisible student to a local hero, was not an accident. Someone had deliberately set it ablaze. Jordan couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The more he thought about it, the more certain he became that they needed to investigate. He approached Alex with his suspicions. "Alex, I know this sounds crazy, but I think the fire at the museum was intentional," Jordan said, his voice low and serious. Alex looked at him, confusion etched on his face. "What makes you say that?" Jordan pulled out a series of newspaper clippings and reports he had been compiling. "Look at these." The fire started in a room that was supposed to be empty and under renovation. There were no electrical faults, no flammable materials left out. And more importantly, there were signs of tampering with the fire alarm system. Alex's eyes widened as he scanned the documents. But who would do something like that? And why? Jordan shook his head. "I don't know, but I think we need to find out." They decided to dig deeper, using their newfound skills and resources. They started by interviewing people who had been at the museum on the day of the fire. It was a slow and arduous process, filled with dead ends and false leads. But then, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Mrs. Ramirez, the museum's janitor, recalled seeing a suspicious man in a restricted area just before the fire broke out. He was wearing a suit, which was odd because that area was closed off. He seemed out of place, she told them. Do you remember what he looked like? Alex asked. Mrs. Ramirez thought for a moment. He was tall, with dark hair and a scar on his left cheek. He was carrying a briefcase. Armed with this description, Jordan and Alex started looking through security footage from the museum. After hours of painstaking review, they spotted the man. He was indeed in the restricted area, and his movements were suspicious. We need to find out who this guy is, Jordan said, determination in his eyes. Their investigation led them to a shocking discovery. The man was identified as Richard Sterling, a high-profile businessman with ties to several influential figures in the city. As they delved deeper, they uncovered a web of corruption and deceit. Sterling had orchestrated the fire to divert attention from a major political scandal involving several city officials. Jordan and Alex were stunned. This is bigger than we thought, Alex said, his voice tinged with fear. What do we do now? We bring this to the authorities, Jordan replied firmly. But we need solid proof. Their quest for justice became a race against time. They gathered evidence, documenting everything meticulously. They reached out to a trusted journalist, Maria Alvarez, who had a reputation for exposing corruption. Maria was intrigued by their findings. If what you're saying is true, this could be huge, she said. But you need to be careful. These people won't hesitate to silence anyone who threatens them. Jordan nodded. We know the risks, but we can't let them get away with this. As they worked with Maria to build their case, they faced increasing threats and intimidation. One night, Alex received a menacing phone call. If you and your friend don't drop this investigation, there will be consequences, the voice on the other end warned. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Jordan, we need to be careful. They're onto us. Jordan remained resolute. We can't back down now. We're too close to the truth. Their determination paid off. With Maria's help, they managed to gather enough evidence to expose Sterling and his accomplices. The story broke, causing a media frenzy. The public was outraged, and the authorities were forced to take action. Sterling and several city officials were arrested and charged with arson, conspiracy, and corruption. The city was in shock, but there was also a sense of relief. Justice had been served. In the aftermath, Jordan and Alex found themselves in the spotlight once again. But this time, it was different. They were not just celebrated for their bravery during the fire, but also for their courage in standing up against powerful figures and seeking justice. At a press conference, a reporter asked Jordan, "How does it feel to have uncovered such a major conspiracy?" Jordan paused before answering. "It feels right. It was never about fame or recognition. It was about doing what was right and ensuring that those responsible were held accountable." Alex added, "We've learned that being a hero is not just about a single act of bravery. It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult and dangerous." Their journey had transformed them both. They had gone from adversaries to allies, from students to heroes. And as they looked towards the future, they knew that their fight for justice was far from over. They had a newfound purpose and a deeper understanding of what it meant to be a true hero.
Astérisque astérisque topic 10. Astérisque astérisque.
As investigation continued, Jordan and Alex found themselves diving deeper into a web of deceit and corruption. It was during a late-night research session in the school library that they stumbled upon a series of emails and documents that pointed to a shocking truth. The fire at the museum had been orchestrated by a powerful figure in the city. "Jordan, look at this," Alex whispered urgently, his eyes wide with disbelief. He handed over a stack of printed emails, each one more incriminating than the last. Jordan scanned the pages, his heart pounding. This can't be real. These emails suggest that Mayor Thompson wanted to create a diversion. But why? Alex nodded, his face pale. "There's more. My dad. He's mentioned in these emails. It looks like he was involved in some way." The revelation hit Jordan like a ton of bricks. Alex's father was a well-known businessman with significant influence in the city. The notion that he could be connected to such a heinous act was almost too much to bear. "We need to be careful, Alex," Jordan said, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling inside him. "This is bigger than us. We have to find a way to expose the truth without putting ourselves in danger. Days turned into weeks as they meticulously gathered evidence, piecing together the puzzle. They couldn't risk going to the authorities without concrete proof, as the reach of Mayor Thompson's power was extensive. The duo found themselves in a race against time, knowing that every moment they delayed, the more likely it was that the truth would remain buried. One evening, while they were tucked away in Jordan's basement, surrounded by stacks of papers and a cluttered bulletin board filled with notes and photos, Alex broke the silence. "Jordan, what if my dad is more involved than we think? What if he knew everything and still went along with it?" Jordan looked up from his laptop, meeting Alex's troubled gaze. "We can't jump to conclusions, Alex. But if he is involved, we have to confront him. It's the only way to get the answers we need." The next day, they decided to confront Alex's father. The conversation was bound to be difficult, but they knew it was a necessary step in their quest for justice. As they entered the lavish mansion where Alex lived, the tension was palpable. Alex's father, Mr. Anderson, was sitting in his study, a glass of whiskey in hand. He looked up as they entered, his eyes narrowing at the sight of Jordan. "Alex, what's going on?" Mr. Anderson demanded, his tone icy. "Dad, we need to talk," Alex began, his voice wavering slightly. "It's about the fire at the museum. We know it wasn't an accident." Mr. Anderson's expression hardened. "What are you talking about?" Jordan stepped forward, holding out the stack of emails. "We found these. They show that Mayor Thompson orchestrated the fire to divert attention from a political scandal. And your name is mentioned in them." For a moment, Mr. Anderson's face was a mask of fury. But then, something shifted. He slumped back in his chair, a look of resignation washing over him. "I didn't want to be a part of it," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But Mayor Thompson, he has dirt on everyone. He threatened to ruin our family if I didn't cooperate." Jordan felt a pang of sympathy, but he knew they couldn't let emotions cloud their judgment. "We need your help to expose him. You're in a position to gather more evidence and testify against him." Mr. Anderson hesitated, then nodded slowly. "I'll do it. But we have to be smart about this. Mayor Thompson won't go down without a fight." With Mr. Anderson's assistance, they managed to gather the final pieces of evidence needed to build a solid case. They reached out to a trusted journalist, someone known for exposing corruption, and handed over everything they had. The story broke, sending shockwaves through the city. Mayor Thompson's elaborate scheme was laid bare, and the public outrage was immediate. The authorities launched an investigation, and soon enough, arrests were made. As the dust settled, Jordan and Alex stood side by side, a sense of relief washing over them. The journey had been grueling, but they had emerged victorious. "Jordan," Alex said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "We did it. We really did it." Jordan nodded, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. "Yeah, we did. But remember, being a hero isn't just about one big act of bravery. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard." Their friendship, forged in the fires of adversity, had grown stronger with each challenge they faced. They knew that the road ahead would still be filled with obstacles, but they were ready to face them together. In the end, Jordan realized that his journey had taught him more than just the power of science or the importance of bravery. It had shown him the true meaning of heroism, standing up for justice, no matter the cost, and never losing sight of the values that define who you are.